Today I fucked up. Stolen from the American forum Reddit.
Today I fucked up by sleeping over at my new girlfriend's house and taking sleeping pills. I, 38M, am in the process of a high-conflict divorce. 5 years in the making after 8 years married. 5 months ago I met a wonderful woman. She has been very understanding with the situation with my soon-to-be ex and kids. We've put off sleeping over since I was still living with my wife in our house. A couple of weeks ago, the court ordered my wife to move out and we now exchange the kids every week. This was her week with the kids and my girlfriend, and I decided to finally have a sleepover. Throughout the whole divorce process I have been having trouble sleeping and have been taking sleeping pills on and off for the past 6 months. This week was particularly hard with the kids out of the house, and by Thursday I had had a total 10 hours of sleep. So I go to the pharmacy to get sleeping pills. My girlfriend has already warned me she is a light sleeper and has a strict schedule of going to sleep at 10 p.m. So I want our first night to go well with no disturbance from me. Secondly, my experience has taught me that I need at least 3 sleeping pills to feel the effects, and even then they take a few hours to kick in. Granted, I've never used this particular brand, but I trust my experience. Given that I'm 115 kilograms and 201m and don't drink or take drugs, it might be that I'm just not that responsive to sleeping agents. So I get to her house after a tough day in the office where I had to let go of staff. I'm sleep deprived and emotionally exhausted. We order pizza and salad, and when it arrives we sit down to eat. It's around 7 p.m., so I decide to take the pills then so they would have time to do their thing. We get through the salad, and by the time we get to the pizza I'm starting to feel woozy. By the end of the meal, I can't see straight, it's difficult to form sentences, and I'm experiencing very strong hiccups. My girlfriend sits me on the couch and rubs my back to help with the hiccups, and within 20 minutes they're gone. She helps me brush my teeth and helps me into bed. It is just after 8 p.m. and she jumps in the bed with me and rubs my back and arms until I'm asleep. Next thing I know, I feel a fart coming on and just let it rip. As you can guess, it was a trick. My sphincter was playing on my sleeping pill-soaked brain, and I go on to make a deposit of loose change in my underpants. I jump out of the bed and run to the bathroom. I try to quietly clean up, and long story short, I go through a roll of toilet paper and ruin 2 hand towels and the little carpet by the toilet in the process. I get out of the bathroom and run into my very worried girlfriend pacing the hallway. I tell her what happened and she bursts out laughing, tells me not to worry, and after assuring me I didn't shit the bed as well, puts me back to sleep. I woke up this morning to a clean bathroom, laundered towels and underwear, and a fresh cup of coffee. She's a keeper. Lesson: not all sleeping pills are equal, some come with added sharts. Today I fucked up by going to the for a bump on my body. Turned out it was my clitoris. I saw other people on this community share stories from the past, and I think this is one of the most facepalm moments of my life. A definite testimony to how the education system failed me. This was from 4 years ago when I was 18 years old. Yes, 18. I was taking a shower and paying attention to my body parts when I found that there was a little bump on my vulva that hurt, and that every time I touched it, it gave me goosebumps all over my body. I was so scared and researched on it, and as expected, I got even more anxious as I thought I had cancer, an infection, some STD, or whatever. After that shower I kept touching the bump, and I was so convinced that it was serious, so I told my mom to book an OB/GYN appointment for me right away. At that time, the OB/GYN's next open schedule was on the following week, and I thought it was urgent, so my mom advised me to go to the emergency room instead. When I arrived at the there were 3 nurses receiving people, and I described it to them. They brought me to a room to have it checked, and the available doctor said, "There's nothing that looks physically wrong here." And I said, "Don't you see the abnormal bump in the middle?" And the nurse said, "Sweetie, that's your clitoris." I was so red and embarrassed, I only figured out where my clitoris was when I was 18. Today I fucked up by having an orgasm during a haircut. As is normal it seems, this actually happened about a year ago now. I am a 30-ish-year-old male. My wife was 9 months pregnant at the time, so I hadn't gotten any action in a while. Her choice, not mine. My wife is the only person I have ever slept with. We started dating in high school. So on with the story. I have always got my haircut at Cost Cutters or Sports Clips, the cheap places, because I didn't really care. My wife had been going to a salon local to us for the last few years for massages, haircuts, hair color, the works. I had a bad experience at Sports Clips the last time. I just didn't like the results. So she made me an appointment at her salon for me. I showed up and was in their waiting room. The stylist comes to get me, and wow, she is very attractive. Obnoxiously attractive. After I sit in the chair I honestly stopped thinking about it. We were having a good conversation, about my wife actually. Yes, I am a terrible human being. Finish the haircut and go in the back room where they wash everyone's hair. As she started to wash my hair, I don't know what happened, but it felt really good the way she was massaging my head while applying the shampoo. Cue the boner. Thankfully the way I was situated and the robe they had on me hid it pretty well, I think. I had a warm towel over my eyes. She finishes that and then she asks if I want a hand massage. I decline because I am a guy and it's just kinda awkward, especially given her attractiveness. Her reaction was kinda odd. She seemed shocked I didn't want one. She asked again if I was sure and I felt I might offend her if I said no again, so I agreed. The hand massage just felt amazing. I don't know what it was, but it was incredible. All of a sudden I start getting little twitches in my penis, for lack of a less obnoxious word for it. I couldn't stop them, they just kept building. Then she goes to switch hands, grabs the lotion and puts the bottle down on my stomach, which slides down and ever so slightly touches my penis. That was the final straw and it happened. Next thing I know I am in a full orgasm and I can't stop it. I end up crossing my legs to further hide the fact that my penis and groin area are having seizures basically. I'm so embarrassed, I had no idea what to do. My semen is soaking into my boxers and it's a terribly gross feeling. I don't think she knew what was going on, thank God. She finished the hand massage and I have the most awkward walk of my life back to her chair. I basically shut down at that point and tried to rush the rest of the appointment. I am sure I was bright red at this point from embarrassment. We finish the appointment and I go to the cashier to check out. I'm an epic moment of good judgment. I decide to give her an obnoxious tip on top of it. I think it was $50 on a $50 bill. Yes, I am an idiot, and if she did know, I just made it a million times more awkward. I went home, avoided my wife and went straight into the shower, hid my clothes and put them in the washer right after my shower. I have never been back and have made do with my subpar haircuts from my local sports clips since. My wife doesn't know. Telling her this story a week from her due date could have gone literally any direction, and telling her now would just be even more awkward. So there's my story, judge all you want. I am aware I am an idiot and did multiple things to make it worse. I feel like I sexually harassed her or something. I hate myself, but not enough to dwell on it. Lol. Q&A. Some people took things too literal or didn't get my attempts at humor. Shortened because I realized I'd gaff about some of the sensitive sallies in this post. Yes, I used the word obnoxious 3 times, and again in my TLDR. Now I have used it 5. Sometimes a word gets stuck in my head and I use it too much. May hell rain down on me for my sins. I did not mean obnoxiously attractive as a bad thing, and yes, I intentionally used the word wrong. I just found it to be a funny way to describe my reaction. She was so attractive it was almost offensive. Maybe would have been better choices? IDK, it was a joke. Parting words, as I probably won't be back to this thread. To the people trying to blame my wife for not bending over backwards to make sure I am sexually satisfied in the best way possible, please piss off. My wife was pregnant and going through a lot. Thinking that she should drop everything to rub one out for me is pretty fucked up. If I was to the point where I needed something, I would just rub one out myself like a normal person. I didn't feel sexually deprived. I had much more important things on my mind. Life doesn't revolve around sex for me. Perhaps I am more sensitive to these things. My wife was the first person who I was attracted to at more than a physical level. The only person I have ever been with. I rarely have physical contact with other women, not because I avoid it, it just doesn't happen in normal course of life. This changes nothing. I am still more attracted to my wife than any human being. Attraction is about more than physical appearance. My wife is hot AF, but her personality is even more attractive to me. Today I fucked up by forgetting to change my tampon before my 2-mile run. On a whim I decided to lace up, brave the cold, and go for a run today. It's the last day of my period and I didn't think much about the fact that I hadn't changed my tampons since last night. So I'm about 0.5 miles in when I feel it start to slip. I figure okay, it might just be a little loose, it feels weird but whatever. Closer to 0.8 miles and I realize this thing is going to come out completely, as I feel it popping out. 1.2 miles in and sure enough, it is out of my hoo-ha and in my underwear. Uncomfortable and weird, but I'm thinking it will just stay in my underwear, which is gross but at least tolerable. 1.5 miles in and it's sliding down my left leg. Oh god, I'm thinking to myself, this thing is going to plop out on the road like roadkill no one wants to see. It gets wedged around my calf at 1.7 miles. I pass a construction worker, praying this tampon will stay in my pants leg. It does, miraculously, and I carry this old tampon on my leg for the remaining 0.3 miles. I was very grateful to get it out of there when I got home. My BF said I should have yanked it out and tossed it on the grass, but he's never had a period, so WTF does he know?
Thank you for watching. Don't forget, you get video, I get likes and subscribes. See you soon.